Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you 3 things you need to look out for in your first rental property. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Hasan Juma. I'm a real estate agent in Vancouver, and I make these educational videos that'll help you buy or sell real estate. If you're looking to buy or sell in Vancouver, the Fraser Valley, do reach out to me. All my contact info is below, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get rolling. So this video, it's not going to go into the depths of rental property investment. So I'm not going to get very financial, too analytical in this. This video is basically geared for someone who maybe owns their principal residence, they've built up some equity, and they're thinking about investing in a rental property, and they want to know some of the top things that they need to look for before going down the line of analyzing different types of properties in terms of whether they are going to generate the right type of cash flow. So we're going to look at some general concepts and a few things that are very important in every rental property. Perhaps in a future video, I will drill down into more of a analysis type format, but this is just some general things to look for so you know which areas to search for when you're looking for a rental property. So the first thing that you want to look for, and this is going to sound super obvious, is rentability. So perhaps you've narrowed it down to a few different areas that you like. Perhaps you live close to the area, you know a lot about the growth that's happening in the area and the different amenities in the location. One of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that the properties are rentable in that area. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to search around for rental listings. So we look at sites just like everyone else, like Craigslist and Kijiji and PadMapper. We also reach out to rental property managers. So this is the first step that I would take if you've zeroed in on an area to understand whether properties are rentable or not, is to talk to a property management company. They'll be happy to speak with you, and you can talk about the different areas you're looking at. You can find out what a typical rent might be. You can find out how many of the units are actually getting rented. One of the issues with the data we get on rental is oftentimes we're looking at classified type listings. We don't know whether they've actually been rented. They could be asking $2,000 per month, but ultimately end up renting at $1,700. The vacancy rate in that area could be much higher than other areas. So you could actually take the money you have, put it into a different area and get a more safe or a more secure return. So these are things as a newbie investor you may not be familiar with. You can talk to your real estate agent about it, but also if you talk to a property manager, they'd be able to tell you things along the lines of rentability. And obviously you want something that's highly rentable, has a low vacancy rate, as low as possible. What this means is if you have a tenant leave in the future, you'll be able to fill that vacancy quickly. There's nothing more draining on an investor, especially a rookie investor's pocket, than having a vacant unit, whether it's an apartment, a townhouse, a detached home. When your tenant leaves, that's dollars right away that's coming out of your pocket. So you want to make sure that the vacancy rate is low, less chance of tenants actually leaving, and when they do, you're able to fill it quick. So number one for sure is obviously rentability. So the second thing you want to look for in a rental property is accessibility. You need to make sure that this property is going to be accessible to the amenities that your tenant is going to want. So if you, for example, are looking at a 1-bedroom condo, or if you're looking at a 3-bedroom townhouse as a rental property investor, you need to put yourself in the shoes of your tenant. So if it's a 1-bedroom, maybe you're putting yourself in the shoes of a single male or female, perhaps a young couple. If it's a 3-bedroom, you're putting yourself in the shoes of a family, and you need to think, what are the amenities, what's necessary for my tenant to have within close distance, so they're going to want to stay here, and they're going to want to stay here for a long time. So the easy one that we always think about is being close to transportation, but how close are we to schools? How good are the schools? How are they rated in terms of public and private schools, especially if you have that 3-bedroom rental investment? How close are you to shopping and restaurants and perhaps the bars and the clubs? If you have that 1-bedroom condo, that might be something that's more appealing to that type of renter. So step 2 is once you've narrowed down what your budget is and you're trying to zone in on different areas, Put yourself in the shoes of that tenant and say, if I lived here, what would I need in my direct vicinity? And another way to think as well is a lot of tenants these days do not have cars or vehicles, and we're actually shifting more towards a society where we're seeing less vehicles on the road. So this needs to be front of mind for you, especially if you're looking for areas to invest for rental, is there's a good chance your tenants may not have vehicles. So now we're looking at things like walk score. You can find out the walk score of different neighborhoods by looking on the MLS, talking to your realtor, saying, hey, look, I'm just generally thinking about the idea of investing and I'm trying to narrow down some areas. Can you let me know the walk score of these different buildings and these different rental properties? And they will gladly do that for you. But very, very important that everything is within close distance to each other. So again, if your tenant doesn't have a car, they can walk to get the groceries, they can walk to the bank, they can walk to the restaurants. They never have to leave the vicinity surrounding the property. And that's going to help you with rentability as well. Again, when a tenant leaves, you want to be able to fill it quick. And areas that are close to these types of amenities and close to really good schools, they tend to rent very quickly when there's tenant turnover. So that's the second thing you want to look for, is making sure the property is accessible. Now the third thing you want to look for, and this is so important for newbie investors, or let's say rookie investors that are looking at their first rental property, is making sure that the property you're looking at purchasing has been maintained well and there's not a ton of capital upgrades that are coming up that you are not prepared for. Now, if you were a different type of investor and you wanted to pick something up and fix it up and flip it, then this obviously wouldn't be important to you. And in fact, you would look for something that has a lot of work to be done to it. But when you're a newbie investor, when this is your first rental property, I think it's so important to purchase something that's not going to be a headache for you. You're not going to, get calls every week with different things that need to be done, or strata assessments saying, oh, we need to get, the roof needs to be repaired, and large capital expenditures that really hurt your bottom line and cause a lot of stress for someone that hasn't been a property manager or a landlord before. So I think it's extremely important, again, to, when you're looking at buildings or you're looking at homes, to look at the work that has been done. Have they done the roof lately? Have they done anything with the plumbing? How are the elevators working in a strata? Because that can be a significant cost as well. Really doing your homework. For rental property investors, I like the route of pre-sale. I like the route of brand new, because you get that warranty and you do pay for a little bit, but you do get some cost certainty in the process. And I think that's a really good thing for someone that's new to investing. One of the biggest things is having that fear of, okay, if I purchase the property and something happens, how am I going to stomach that? How am I going to pay for that? So if you can pay a little bit more up front, which you put into a mortgage anyways, you amortize it over 25 or 30 years, it's not as significant as an impact for you, and you're kind of paying for a warranty that's going to take care of some of these larger type expenditures. So make sure the building or the home or the duplex, it's in good condition. Get a good understanding of what sort of work you may have to do in the short term and the long term, because this immediately impacts your profitability, and it also impacts what kind of sleepless nights you're going to have in the future. And another note on that, if you are in a strata corporation, look into the minutes and definitely get an idea of whether or not the building has had any repeat type of issues, especially water type issues in the environment we're in right now, water damage, water leakage, and the cost to insure properties that have these types of issues is significant. So I would sit down with my agent and I would look at the history of the building, see if there's any history of leaks, especially water, because this tends to carry the largest costs to a landlord or to a homeowner. And again, as your first rental property, you don't want to have to deal with that stuff. You want to purchase something, you want to get a good tenant in there, and you want that tenant to pay in a timely fashion and begin building your equity every time they sent you a rental payment check. So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, I'd love it if you could subscribe below. Again, if you want any help in the Vancouver or the Fraser Valley area, selling or buying real estate, reach out to me. I'll put all my contact info in the description below. Other than that, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.